Hails and welcome to Rauta's Black Metal Reviews. This time we have a band from France called Sordide. I don't really know what to think about this cover because to me it doesn't really say much. I mean, I kind of get some kind of alien vibe from this, which reminds me of Alien movie mouth, the alien, the xenomorph mouth. But apart from that, this could be just some modern art that doesn't really, sell me this album. I'm talking about old school black metal releases. Doesn't matter whether we're talking about Battle or Dark Throne or Burzum or whatever, they kind of had this impact. This is more like a modern art, artsy-fartsy thing. Yes, I'm talking about this kind of a thing here. Maybe for some people this is exactly what they're looking for. Maybe this is something related to some kind of a post-black metalish thing, which I just don't understand, despite liking some of that style. Now, this critique goes against or towards the visual side, so obviously music sometimes is very, very different, and that is what les idées, blanches, I guess, is trying to tell us. So not exactly your typical old school black metal, but French take on something more modern. Unfortunately, like so many other years, I don't understand French language and I don't have the interest nor time to start doing these translations because first and foremost, if the music doesn't do the trick, the lyrics are not gonna save it, and unfortunately in my case, that is unfortunately thing what is happening here with Sordide. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad album, by no means, but it's so multifaceted that it feels like this is going to different directions too much at the same time. I'll try to elaborate, but first let's take a look at this band's Metal Archive site. So while there's no official year when this was founded, first album out in 2014, and that's pretty much where it counts. I mean, we can safely say less than 10 years in the business, and during that time they have done 4 different albums. And this one is indeed the one from 2021, the fourth one. Now, this is kind of an album. I'm trying to choose my words here accordingly. This is something that you have kind of a black and roll, which is not for everybody, but those people who are more into that kind of direction, say more into the modern, more lighter version of black metal, less in the raw direction and kind of old school ways, probably into it. But there are also parts where it gets kind of a post-black metallic, gets into directions where it's just like almost non-metal at all. I'm even getting some Alpha Hanne vibes here where it's kind of a combination of punky, rocky, metallic, hybrid. Not exactly none of those, but a little bit here and there. And that is, for some people, a blessing in disguise. You're not expecting really a black metal album, so when it's exactly not that, you're like, hey, this is pretty cool, having raspy vocals, kind of a black metal riffs, but not too much. So it's kind of like a buffet table, a little bit like, okay, I want to go with this and that, and eventually you have a plate full of different kind of delicacies or bits and pieces, and sometimes that's exactly what you want. But when it comes to music, these kind of hybrids are tougher cookie to crack. And my point here is, a lot of us say that we want to go, beyond the borders of typical thing. We want to be rebellious against music and we want to go, anti-mainstream. Where in fact we just want our own genres to be very simple and easy to digest. Doesn't matter whether we are talking black metal, death metal, etc. But when you have too much different styles on your plate, when it's too much of a mess, a kind of a salad if you will, you kind of start to complain as you're like old man yelling at cloud. Me being, oh man, I want pure black metal. And that's where I kind of don't like this. Now let me get this straight. There are lots of good parts on this album, which make the ticks, box ticked in my, play. I'm like, yay, I like the production. The vocals are pretty good and there's some of the riffs which are like, yay. But overall, this is just too much like all over the place. As if I'm trying to pick the pieces of a puzzle, but after 500 pieces, I just lose my interest. So it's a hit and miss kind of a game. More on the hit side though, but as an album, I would like it to be more intact. I don't know if this makes a sense and if my ranting or critique here goes unnoticed, and it's totally fine. If you don't like my opinion or you just disagree, it's totally fine. Just listen to the album yourself and figure out whether or not it is your cup of tea. For me, it's too much of a mess for me to fully like it. I like it on some parts and the rest are just fillers. Fillers before killers, while it should be exactly the other way around. So throughout these 39 minutes of an album, I'm like, yeah, I like this and that, and the rest can just, go away. And that doesn't really make a good album in my books. So I would say this band needs to straighten up the lines, like figure out what kind of stuff they exactly want to play, cut off those compromises and focus on the good stuff. Now, too much all over the place, unfortunately so. Anyway, maybe French kind of a experimentation is your thing, maybe not. Figure out for yourself. Links are provided in the description box. So click and listen, decide for yourself. This is Rauta. Take care and bye-bye.